to Dualshock'd, the Brotherhood of Geeks PlayStation podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brett J. Rasmussen, and over here, I got my other co-host.
You got Spectre.
Yeah! What is up, man?
What is up? Yeah.
Woo! How you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Not as good as you, based on the what we were just talking about. But, no. I'm actually a day away from having a PS5 here. Finally, I'm finally joining the ranks here. I got the assuming everything goes okay. I mean, like I got a link from Sony. We'll see how that works out. But if all goes well, I should have a PS5 ordered within the next day or so.
Very nice. Very, very nice. What are you excited to play on there?
The same things I'm playing right now. just with better graphics and frame rate. That's pretty much the main reason I'm getting it. I want to play Tony Hawk at 120 FPS. I want to play Crash in 4K. I want to play a bunch of stuff. So that's really what I'm going for.
Nice. I mean, that's again, Miles Morales, very, very good game. I very much love it. I know you're not into superhero games, but it's going to be an easy plat for you, which the plat is not hard. It's like, again, I like the PlayStation exclusives. The platinums are challenging, but yet achievable. Even Demon's Souls, you can actually platinum that game. It's not ridiculously difficult in order to platinum Demon's Souls.
Yeah, it's. I mean, like, so you know me, I'm not really a Souls guy, so.
I know you're not a Souls guy, but like that game very much shows off that, like, because Miles Morales is great and it's a fantastic game. But it's like, remember when Infamous Second Son came out to the PS4? Like, it was within the first year. It wasn't a launch game, but it came out in the first year. And Second Son, good game, but it was just kind of more Infamous. Like, it didn't like kind of change thing outside of look at how pretty this looks.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know. I would play it maybe if it came up as like a PS Plus game or something, but I can't really be bothered with Souls games. And actually, it was Demon's Souls that really turned me off to the whole series in the first place. So I don't see myself picking that up. I'll pick up Miles Morales, not really because I want to play it, more so just because it's an easy platinum and it comes with another platinum that I get auto pops. So that's really the only reason I'll pick it up, and I can wait on that. But yeah, really, honestly, I'm picking this system up to play, just PS4 games really in a better resolution. That's kind of the plan right now.
Yeah, I get you there. But yeah, that's awesome. That's great. I'm glad that you're going to be able to get a PS5 soon, Spectre. That'll be great. Then maybe we can go ahead and play something together or something. Who knows?
Well, there's nothing stopping us from playing together right now. But.
True fact. But now you can join the next generation. I don't know. Look, I will definitely say about the PS5, like, it sucks that it's so hard to get one. I don't know if it's like a good thing or bad thing about just the scarcity of the system. Maybe it's a good thing because like of how popular it still is. But I guess the difference between now and like, what was it, I believe it was 2013 with the PS4 coming out. Like, I remember, like, PS4s are hard to get back in 2013, but again, we're still in the pandemic, and, maybe the supply chains are a bit different now, or whatever. It's just, the good thing is that, like, I've been seeing, updates about, Best Buy, GameStop, Target, Walmart, all these, retailers, they are getting a restocked of the PS5s, but right away it just is gone. And he's gone. Like,
Yeah, I feel for anyone that's trying to get it. I mean, honestly, I had almost kind of, to be frank, I mean, I kind of gave up myself almost, aside from just getting this email. I mean, I just was like, you know what? I tried like the Walmart one. I tried I tried everything else. I'm just like, you know what? Maybe it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
And then boom, this email pops in randomly. So I'm like, oh, I guess I'm getting one.
Yeah. So yeah, I just it's like I got ridiculously lucky that I was able to get mine. I got ridiculously lucky, and I'm very thankful that I was able to. But yeah, I mean, for me, what have I been playing? Honestly, nothing has really changed for me. Still playing the Destiny, still on the Destiny grind. Power leveling right now. Just that's pretty much what I've been doing.
Can you please like just do the DLC trophies for that? Like, just get it done with. Like, I mean,
oh, dude,
I'm so sick of seeing you like less than 100% in that game. You've probably put like 400 hours into that game.
Oh, dude, like so I think for my so every year, what I love about this, but PlayStation does this like year-end review of like, these are all the trophies you got and platinums and and it showed that I put in the one game I played the most of was Destiny 2, and I was like, oh god, oh
I believe
no.
that.
And then I think I'm trying to remember the game that was second, because Destiny like ate up a ton of time. I think the game that took second was Ghost, maybe? I can't remember.
We played a lot of Ghosts, so I believe that, yeah.
So, but yeah, like it's just, yeah, no, don't worry. Like I'm like I have to power level to. So I've hit the cap of 1300 in the current season. I need to get to 1310. So the only way to do that is by doing like weekly pinnacles and stuff like that, which it takes time. And then the way you get to that extra 20 is you have an artifact that adds 20 once you max it. It adds 20 to your level, and you have to be 1330. That's like the recommended power level in order to do the Grandmaster Strike in order to get that trophy. And then you have to be, I think you have to be something else for, I think 1300, maybe more. I can't remember. Or maybe 13. I think it's 1300 for the Master Strike in order to get the 2 trophies that I don't have to platinum that game. So, and then if I want to keep playing Destiny, then I'm playing it because I enjoy it, which I do enjoy it. Like it is fun. It is fun. Like I very much do enjoy Destiny. Destiny has kind of become, as we talked last week, is my World of Warships for you. It's the game that I can play while I'm listening to podcasts.
It's your go-to multiplayer game.
Yeah. And like I found that a good number of my friends are playing Destiny. So like I don't like again, I'm not really a multiplayer guy, but like a lot of them do play Destiny. Mind you, when I play Destiny, I mostly play it solo, and that's I think what I like about it is that I was talking about this, and then we talked about this a year or two ago, back in I think 2019, when Monster Hunter World was the big thing. When we kind of were talking about that game, where Monster Hunter World was this like game that you can play solo, but then you can play with your friends all at the same time. It's kind of like that, and I've been playing Destiny for a long time. The only reason that Destiny 2 like has gotten good and why I'm enjoying it and why I'm playing it more than what I would play an average game is because Bungie has left Activision. Bungie left Activision, and now they're able to kind of do what they want. Like, if I want to spend money on currency, I'm not even spending it on loot boxes, on the engrams, the like cosmetic engrams that they have. Like those are the loot boxes now. It's like you get currency. I want this armor piece, and I want this emote, and I want this ornament for my gun, and I want these things. Like I can literally pick and choose the things that I want, and I prefer that than like random, RNG random rolls of bullcrap. And that's what Activision was telling them to do, and just Bungie was like, we're out, we're done, because no one was enjoying Destiny. Everyone was like, even me, I was like, this isn't fun, this isn't enjoyable. And now Like Bungie is actively, like, I think it was a week or two ago, they're like massively redoing, like Stasis was the new power that you get in Beyond the Light, which is the new expansion that came out last year. And when Stasis, which is like the ice power, people don't like it in PvP, which is the Crucible, because you're just, once you get frozen, you're just dead. Like, you're just gonna die. And now they're like rejiggering it entirely. Like they're changing the way Stasis works in PvP. Like they just did a massive update talking about how, like, you know, guns, armor, PvP, PvE, all these different things. So I'm very much enjoying it, and yeah, I mean, again, Bungie, when Bungie can be Bungie, they are very good at what they do. Like, I love Halo. I love Halo. I feel like that was my very first shooter. I didn't play Call of Duty. I didn't even play GoldenEye on the 64. I mean, I did with my buddies, but I barely remember that. I barely did. My first shooter that I played was Halo. Halo was the one that I played. That was the reason why I got an original Xbox back in the day, not a PS2. So, like, I love Bungie. Bungie's great. And, like, again, I've had a lot, like, ever since Destiny 1 came out, and it was a vanilla Destiny was boring and meh. And then you had Taken King, which was better, but still just okay at best. And then Destiny 2 came out, and it had a better story. And really, the only reason that I was able to kind of have this, like, I was able to go back to Destiny, unlike games like Marvel's Avengers and Anthem, and we'll talk about more of Marvel's Avengers in a little bit. But the difference with Destiny is that the one thing that that allowed me to go, like, all right, I'll come back, is the gunplay. The gunplay of, like, how guns felt and how you were, like, killing enemies and stuff. It was just really fun, and it felt really good playing it. And again, I'm not a PvP guy. I get frustrated playing PvP because of meta and everything like that. And look, to each his own. I'm not a fan of that, but that's me. I like to go ahead and use my sweet business and just do that forever. But, like, that's what I mean is, like, what they got down was the core gameplay of gunplay. And that was what allowed me to kind of go, like, all right, I'll play it. I don't like this. I'll come back. I don't like this. And then ever since they left Activision, that was when I was like, oh, this is really fun. Oh, look at this. You're doing this thing and you're doing that thing. And, oh, these powers are fun. And, oh, I, like, rolls. And, like I remember I got into the Beyond Light expansion. All of a sudden, I got Catalyst of all of the different exotics. I'm like, holy crap, it took me forever to get these, and now I'm just getting them, strike after Gambit after Crucible, and I'm just like, oh, this is fun. This is giving me a lot of stuff to do. And now even this season, like, the story, like, we're in Season of the Chosen is happening, and the story is actually, like, they're really kind of focusing in on the story, which is fantastic. And then every week, the reason why it kind of keeps making me come back is that every week there's, like, a list of tasks you need to do. And every time you finish a task, you get a crap ton of XP and Bright Dust. And if you do all of the tasks within the season, at the end, you're going to get this, I believe it's like 10,000 or 100,000 Bright Dust or whatever. That's a crap ton of stuff I could buy for cosmetics. So, again, it's a fun game, and it's a game that I can turn my brain off while I'm making calls, I'm listening to podcasts, like, I'm playing catch up on my YouTube, it's just a game that I can play in the background while I'm doing other things, if that makes sense.
It does.
I just vomited a bunch of stuff that you didn't care about.
I don't think I was the only one that didn't care about it.
Whatever. I mean, again, to each his own. Again, you could probably spout stuff about Star Trek, and I'll be like, that's cool. I don't know anything about Star Trek, but
why did you go straight to Star Trek with me? I mean, I do know a lot more about Star Trek than you, but I mean, why did you go straight to Star Trek?
I don't know.
You could have said a lot of things.
Probably it would be a Command and Conquer. I know nothing about Command and Conquer. I could probably go to that. Watch our unboxing of that collector's edition, by the way. plug.
It's a great video.
It is a good video. You did a very good job, Spectre. That was a great video. I very much enjoyed that unboxing. But yeah, I think we have talked enough. Why don't we go ahead and talk about the news, shall we?
That sounds good to me.
Great. All right, let's go ahead and begin with News of the Nation. Alrighty then. Yes. Okay, so we got some news. Actually, this week has been very much more about Xbox, and we're going to talk about that later because we got to break that down. But there has been a bit of news regarding PlayStation and otherwise, so let's begin with this. So remember how I was talking about Marvel's Avengers, and we talked about it on last week's episode of Dualshock'd, of how Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics are expanding. They're pretty much, you have to now grind out XP even more.
Yeah, I recall that. Yeah, we were like, it's just a never-ending cavalcade of bad news for this game.
It's just it's almost like it's like Anthem. It's ridiculous. I don't understand this. It's so. So anyway, pretty much what has happened is that Crystal Dynamics has clarified how XP progression will change in Marvel's Avengers. This is coming from IGN. This is an update of an article they did a week before, and we talked about it here. But the update is that the Crystal Dynamics has clarified how XP progression will change in Avengers, accepting that it is called confusion for the first announcement of the move. And we talked about it on last week's episode. But on Reddit, the official developer account for the game wrote, quote, "We did not change XP to increase grind for grind's sake. Our initial blog was not comprehensive enough to convey what we were doing and why, so we caused confusion. We get it." End quote. In clarification, the developer explains that the progression curve will now mean that players level up faster than before at low levels and take longer to level at higher levels. Estimates later levels will take 2 to 4 missions for each level rather than once or more per mission, as it can happen in the current version. So before the PS5 update, which I believe that's happening very soon. I believe it's this month. I'm trying to see the March 18th. That's very soon, if not already happened. It's very soon as time of recording this. So, let's see. More powerful enemies will also offer additional XP, further incentivizing you to fight them. In all, Crystal Dynamics expects that reaching maximum level with heroes will take around 3 to 5 hours longer than before the changes. While it's certainly a clearer picture of the changes, fans on Reddit broadly remain unconvinced by the changes' usefulness to the game. The top-rated reply to the comment comes from user Antka87, who puts it simply, quote, "This is a terrible move. Leveling up was never the issue. The lack of content was." And then last week, IGN wrote about the move represents Avengers fixing the wrong problems. In the article from IGN, quote, In a year's time, I want to look back and see the success it's become. For that to happen, though, there needs to be better communication with the fans and a genuine back and forth regarding the issues fans have with the game. Of all the complaints I've seen about Avengers, none of them were about how surprisingly quick leveling your heroes can be, but almost all has been about the death of fun to be had once you have done that. XP changes come along the next-gen versions, along with adding Hawkeye. The PlayStation exclusive Spider-Man content has been long delayed, and Black Panther would be coming after that, but little is known about Black Panther, and we have no idea when Spider-Man is coming out. So, yeah. This is the Anthem. So, the thing is that even BioWare said the same thing with Anthem. This is what kills me. Is like, so we have this happening, and I believe that Anthem said the same thing. Is like, because we reviewed this. We reviewed this on our channel on an episode of Dualshock'd, and like I gave it a 2 out of 5 at the time, and I think I was being generous. I should probably have given it a 1 out of 5. God, because that game was bad. I think I just let when playing Anthem when it started, like that whole like, oh, this is really fun being in Iron Man suit, and then blah, that game was bad. That game was horrible. At least with Cyberpunk, there is a game there that you can play and it can be fun, but there are a lot of problems with it. But like, I don't even know with Marvel's Avengers. Marvel's Avengers, the thing is that like the campaign was the only thing that I very much enjoyed. After you do the campaign, like the end game stuff, whatever end game is, it's boring and not worth my time. And I think, well, okay, I'll stop rambling because I know I'll get off on a tangent. So I'll let you.
Oh yeah, you did.
So I'll let you go ahead and discuss this before I go back on my rant.
I have nothing to say. I have nothing to say about this game. It was a terrible cash in. It should never have been made. You took this great developer, and I've said this all before. You took this great developer, and they wasted their time on this awful cash-in game that nobody likes. And now their whole thing is, I mean, they're probably like sunk now. I mean, what are they? Are they going to make anything else in the future? I don't even know. Like, actually, I should even check in on that. Are they even developing anything right now other than just more garbage for this game?
Well, mind you, they don't have content. That's the problem. That's the problem, is that they don't have content to even promote it. Like that's kind of what I was about to get into. The difference with Destiny, even though I hated vanilla Destiny, like I hated it, it actually made me mad. I made the joke of like when you meet the stranger at the end when you beat the campaign, or like during it, like he talks about the darkness, and you ask the stranger about what is the darkness, what is happening. And she goes, I don't have time to explain. No, you're right here telling me. Like, no, tell me. So I make the joke of, I don't have time to explain, of the time that I don't have time to explain, of that time, of another time. Shut up. Like, Destiny 1, like, Destiny 1 was bad. But the thing is that, like, just like with The Division, just like with No Man's Sky, they continued to be like, nope, we're going to keep going. And they were able to rebuild and make a good game out of it. Now, the thing is, I can't see where you go with Avengers, because great, we have a next gen upgrade, but you're going to expand. You're going to like Destiny fell into some traps, but they were able to get out of it. How is it that Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix, they saw what happened to Anthem? And they saw the pitfalls that Destiny fell into. Even though Destiny was in No Man's Sky and Division and Rainbow Six Siege. Like, they all kind of were able to come out of the pitfalls that happened. Where, with this, it feels like that they're falling into the exact same traps that Anthem did. Anthem fell into those traps, and now Anthem's dead. It's dead. BioWare is moving on to Mass Effect Legendary Edition in the next Dragon Age game. So, like, I think that's the difference, is that, like, this game should have been a single player, or it should have been a co-op game like Ultimate Alliance. Use the same story. Like, that's fine. Like, the story with AIM and MODOK, that's great. I like that. And then similar gameplay, that's fine, but you'd had to turn it into a looter shooter, or a beat 'em up looter, which is what it is, and do this like leveling crap where, like, if you just turned it into next generation Ultimate Alliance, you have a team of 4 that you can control all 4 of them, or you and your crew, like, you play online and stuff, you can choose your Avenger. And as, time goes by, they're going to add other heroes, like Spider-Man, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, so on and so on. I don't know. This game, I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, I just keep, every time I talk about this game or I hear anything about this game, it's just the tragedy of, this is such a great developer. Eidos Montreal, I mean, they brought back Deus Ex and did a great job with it, and then they did an okay job with Tomb Raider too. I'm not the biggest Tomb Raider fan by any means, but they did an okay job with that as well. And then they wasted all their time on this awful cash-in game, and like I said, nobody likes it. I mean, it hasn't really even made them money. I mean, it hasn't really been profitable.
Exactly, they lost money from this game.
We had a story about that before. Yeah, they lost money on it. It just really ruined their reputation. There's no upside to this game. I don't think anybody likes it. I mean, you were like 100% on board with it. You loved the idea of it, and you can't stand it.
Because I saw all the even then I remember when they were doing the war tables and it got announced and people were like, it looks like a PS3 game, and I'm like, no, like this could be good. This looks pretty fun. And then and again, the game is fun when the cool stuff happens in the campaign, it's awesome. But then outside of it, it's boring. Again, you're beating up bullet sponges, and it's just how much damage can you output. And yes, I understand that in Destiny it's the same way. In Division, it's the same way. How much damage can you output with your gun or whatever? But there really isn't anything to grip me. The reason why I kept going back to Destiny is because, do you want this exotic? Here's this exotic weapon. Here's this exotic sword, machine gun, auto rifle, submachine gun, does all of these cool things. I want to keep giving you quests and stuff to do. And that's why I kept coming back, where I'm like, oh, I want this exotic. This exotic looks cool. Even when I was like, I don't give a shit about the story. I don't give a crap about these characters. Now I'm actually really getting into the lore because Bungie's doing a fantastic job. But back when Destiny 1 started, and especially when Destiny 2 came out, I kind of gave it another shot. But it was the exotics that kept me coming back. There's no reason for me to come back. I don't care about Kate Bishop. Who? Hawkeye 2.0, Hawkeye girl version? And now we have Hawkeye. Great. I have two of them. And I understand, Kate Bishop is a fine character. It depends on, again, I haven't really heard much from the comic book fandom of oh my god, Kate Bishop! But I don't know. And I think that now, I understand, in the past, I think we talked about how Spider-Man was exclusive to PlayStation, and we talked about how, I was I mean, there's contract stuff, and I get it, but now it's this game is going to die. You may need to just, put Spider-Man on all consoles at the same time, and just, here's Spidey, brand new campaign, blah, blah, blah. Because Spider-Man is your Superman. Spider-Man is your Batman for this game. They need something to have people coming back. And this, to this, the XP grind, and they don't call it a grind, it's corporate speak for bullcrap. No, I'm sorry. All right, rant done.
Moving on, yeah.
Rant done. All right, I just had to get that out there. Okay. Let's move on. Next topic. Last of Us developer, Naughty Dog, is hiring for a multiplayer game built for longevity. So Naughty Dog is hiring for a multiplayer game that is built for longevity in job listings that have been posted. A position for economy designer / parentheses multiplayer was spotted on the Naughty Dog website, which mentions that the successful candidate will, quote, ensure robust longevity for the studio's games, as well as, quote, design, implement, and tune game economy and player progression systems. The listing also notes that the candidate will, quote, create avenues for self-expression for our players, suggesting that the game will feature customization or cosmetic personalization options for some description. Robust longevity, and quote and end quote, also suggests that the game will be supported over the years, potentially incorporating live service features that speak to the listing summary, which mentions the importance of providing players with, quote, great rewards to strive for. Naughty Dog is looking for candidates experienced in player psychology and narrative tone, suggesting that there may be some sort of story threaded throughout the multiplayer experience. So the article goes on talking about how this would be a successful candidate working on the standalone Factions equivalent for Last of Us Part 2, because Factions was a part of a Last of Us 1, because there is a multiplayer for Last of Us 1, and so on and so on. The post wraps up saying that Naughty Dog is, quote, excited to share more when it's ready. This can be interpreted two ways. Either Naughty Dog is creating a multiplayer game unrelated to Last of Us Part 2, or is working on an in-universe multiplayer spin-off disconnected from the single-player experience. Naughty Dog's co-president Neil Druckmann said at the start of March that the studio is working on several cool things, and hopefully we'll hear more about them soon. So yeah. So again, this is a quick one, but like the multiplayer for Last of Us 1 is actually really fun. And not a lot of people played it because you play, again, I think Naughty Dog is known more for its story. Even Uncharted's multiplayer is fantastic. I played the crap out of it. So fun. But Last of Us 1's multiplayer is pretty fun. It's not bad. And I remember fans of Last of Us, when Last of Us Part 2 was coming out, they were like, "Oh, only single player. Where's the multiplayer? No multiplayer?" And it was just saying that it would come out later. And this might be it, that the multiplayer would come out later. So it might be that. I know, Spectre, you don't care about this game.
Not in the least. Yeah, I think it's safe to assume that that's what this is in reference to, Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's I really couldn't care less. I'm sorry. I don't have anything good to say about. It's sad that that I have to say this. I don't have anything good to say about Naughty Dog, really. It's kind of sad. But,
is it? I'm curious. Is it only because, like, did you play Uncharted? I'm curious if you play like I know you don't.
I dabbled in Uncharted. I wasn't. I'm not like the biggest fan of it, really. I think it's kind of linear and dull. I'm just not really the biggest fan of it. Not that a game is bad for being linear. It's just there's just not much to it. It's just it's part of this. It's kind of a problem with a lot of Sony exclusives, and I'm not the first person to say this by any means, but it's just there's an issue with a lot of their exclusives where they kind of come off as like these playable movie experiences that don't really focus on gameplay at all. And I think Uncharted is kind of the poster child for that.
Do you? I get you, because I think Naughty Dog is the flagship developer. Like they're pun intended, the big dog. They are the big guys of PlayStation. They're the headliners. And I would definitely say, because of the success of Last of Us 1, like Horizon has that kind of like movie style. Like that's kind of the reason why that movie style feel is in a lot of the PlayStation exclusives. I would even say Ghost of Tsushima, which we talked about this. That was our game of the year for last year. And it has that movie feel, but I'm feeling that the reason why also, though, is that it still is able to offset that or to balance that with the combat that happens in that game.
Yeah, I'm just not into it, man. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. But I had to bring that up because, hey, man, we might be getting The Last of Us Part 2 multiplayer, and that'll be fun. I look forward to that. But let's move on. This I think you'll find interesting. I think you'll enjoy this one more, Spectre. So, next topic is that EA is investigating FIFA scandal after employee allegedly caught selling rare FIFA Ultimate Team cards. So, EA is investigating allegations that an employee, or at least someone involved with with FIFA, is selling rare FIFA 21 Ultimate Team items in exchange for real money through a kind of makeshift black market. Earlier this week, reports began spreading on social media that claimed to have screenshots of a text exchange between an alleged EA employee and a FIFA 21 player trying to purchase FIFA Ultimate Team icon and Team of the Year cards. In exchange, the seller was offering rare cards for over $1,000 US. Typically, the legitimate ways to acquire these cards require trades between players by purchasing random loot packs, making these cards incredibly rare. And it should be noted that Icon and TOTY cards, Team of the Year cards, aren't just rare because of the famous players on them, but because their competitive stats are also some of the best in the game. The exchange has been The exchange has since been named EAGate on social media. And then there are pictures of the tweet, so I'm going to kind of go over this, and all this will be in the sources are always in the description. So it says, this is the tweet, it says, hashtag EAGate. A special thanks to at Ribera Ribble for this picture. He did an amazing work, and then it shows the pictures. So the picture says, people are paying 2,500 USD for R9 moments and 1,000 USD for guilt moments. Pretty much it's explaining kind of the conversation that is happening between in order to get these Ultimate Team cards. It's unclear. Back to the article. This is now back to the article. It's unclear exactly how these transactions begin, but according to the chat screenshots, a person seeking rare FUT cards just needs to provide their PSN and an EA ID and the appropriate funds. When asked by the buyer if there's a reason to worry about being banned, the seller says there's, quote, no risk, but can't divulge why out of concern for security. The alleged seller appears to offer a menu of items, including 3 icon cards for 750 euros, or in US, $895, 3 icon cards, and 2 Team of the Year cards for 1,000 euros, or in US, $1,193. In a statement published on the official EA Sports FIFA Twitter, the company says it's aware of the allegation and is starting an investigation. Quote, though a thorough investigation is underway, and if we identify improper conduct, we will take swift action, says EA. We want to be clear, this type of behavior is unacceptable, and we in no way condone what is alleged to have happened here. So yeah. That's fun. And then a little bit later. So this was happening on March 10th. Now, I'm going to go ahead and continue with this, because then about on the 13th, EA has disabled FIFA discretionary content granting indefinitely amidst the EAGate scandal. So pretty much what this means is that EA has halted all FIFA discretionary content granting an indefinite period of time as it investigates the current allegations, as of the selling of the FUT cards. EA gave an update on the schedule, which the community has dubbed EAGate, and explained how it has launched a rigorous investigation on how this could have happened and how it is narrowing down which accounts received through this illicit process. The company has also made clear that any accounts that have received items that were transferred nefariously will be permanently banned. These items, which are meant to be earned through gameplay or engagement, like Twitch broadcasts, were granted to other accounts by one or more EA accounts, which were either compromised or being used inappropriately by someone within EA. Content granting or purchasing player items in exchange for money is no way condoned by EA, as it runs counter to the game's competitive integrity. It is a violation of EA's user agreement, and is not something we tolerate. While EA's initial investigation uncovered this questionable activity only involved a small number of accounts and items, it is still unacceptable to the team. Following the investigation, EA will take action against any employee found guilty, and any items that have been granted through this manner have been removed through the FUT system, and accounts have been banned. Pretty much, and then it continues that that regardless of their actions, we appreciate how this is concerning all of our players, so on and so on. Oh, this will be good. Here, let me continue. We also appreciate how extremely annoying and frustrating it is that this picture might have come from within EA. We're angry too. We know that the trust of our communities is hard-earned and is based on principles of fair play. This illicit activity shakes that trust. We've also been clear since the creation of Ultimate Team that items cannot be exchanged outside of our game, and that's key to how we keep our game safe from manipulation and bad actors. This is a breach of that principle as well, and we won't let that stand. And then what it says by content granting is that it's a process which in certain in-game items are directly distributed to a specific account. In FIFA, these items are players' kits or consumables. The three most prevalent ways granting occurs is through worldwide customer experience, testing and QV, and discretionary content granting. So athletes get these, partners get these, and employees get these. Worldwide customer experience granting is when a player accidentally deletes content goes missing through a glitch, or is being made, so stuff happening. Testing QV is when content is granted for testing quality verification, and then discretionary content is when EA wants to, quote, recognize contributions that have been made by certain pro footballers, celebrity partners, or even their own employees. They're non-tradable, blah, 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 blah. Just one last thing. The items only account for These items only account for 0.0006% of the total player items in the FIFA 21 ecosystem and have no impact on the odds of any account receiving a specific player item through normal means. So that's a lot of words. Here's the breakdown. Is that there's this whole EA black market that has been pretty much happening. And the people who've been able to get the best things in the game apparently have been either EA employees, the best players who played that game, celebrities or football players, soccer players. And instead of, keeping them for themselves, they're selling it to make thousands of dollars. What do you think, Spectre?
I mean, like I say, it's hard for me to care about FIFA. It really is. I mean, it's kind of like this thing where it sounds like, it's people are getting kind of an unfair advantage based on their status. Either their employee. I mean, in a way, this has always happened. I mean, celebrities and employees have always gotten like special versions of games. They've gotten different things, different special promo things. So in a way, that has always happened. I mean, I don't know. I think the best solution for people is just, I know it's not, the popular fun choice, but the best solution really is just to vote with your wallet. I mean, it's kind of like what I did with Battlefield. Like, I mean, I absolutely hated what they did to Battlefield, and I didn't buy Battlefield, and I was not alone for Battlefield 5, that is. And for them to make me buy Battlefield 6, it's, I mean, I don't know. That's going to take like a miracle. I don't really know how they're going to do that.
I mean, why am I not surprised?
I mean, I expect a great game and an apology at this point, at the very least. It's like, it'd be nice if they came out and acknowledged how bad it was, So I don't know. I mean, that's just how I reacted to it. I mean, I think, I don't know. FIFA players will have to decide for themselves if they're going to put up with this.
It's ridiculously stupid. Like, the thing is, like EA has taken some good strides with especially the Star Wars games, because Fallen Order is great and Squadrons is also great. But mind you, the thing is, the reason why they're good is because they have to answer to the Disney overlords, who are like, if you don't make good Star Wars games, we're just going to go ahead and pull you, and you don't make them. And now, now EA doesn't even have the complete right to the sole rights to Star Wars. Now everyone's making Star Wars games. But, this doesn't surprise me. This doesn't surprise me at all. The EA Sports brand of their crap, it's ridiculous. Freaking Madden 2020, Madden 21 is pretty much the same game for the past 2 years. And like FIFA is the same thing. The only thing that they care about and they work on, they put more effort into, is freaking Ultimate Team. And all you're doing is throwing money down a massive pit, which then you're just going to have to go ahead and reset anyway next year, because that stuff doesn't transfer. It doesn't move with you from 20 to 21 to 22. Like, it's dumb. It's stupid. Like, I don't understand. Like, look, like, I'm not surprised that there's a goddamn black market for the best cards in the game, and people will spend money because they're competitive and they want to be competitive, so they'll spend thousands of dollars on the best crap in the game. And, like, it's so ridiculous. And the reason why I brought up that quote is that, where is it? I need to pull up the stupid quote. Where is it? Yeah, so we also appreciate how extremely annoying and frustrating from EA. So EA is trying to side with the gamers. Like, they're trying to side with the players. Bull crap you are. You could fix this and just make these things that are being sold easier to find, easier to pick up. You make a quest line, do something. Give people the ability to play it, but no. Gotta spend real life money, gotta spend it on packs, gotta spend it on loot boxes, gotta spend it on this gambling bullcrap. Like, it's ridiculous. EA is trying to side with the players. Bull crap you are. EA, and look, I give props to EA for trying to make some of their games better, and I really hope this Dragon Age game is good, but I don't have any faith in EA, because every time that I go, oh, it'll be better, oh, it'll be okay, it'll be fine, they go ahead and screw it up all over again. Look at Battlefront 2, like, look at Dragon Age, look at Mass Effect Andromeda, look at every single stupid sports game they have. Like, it's ridiculous that EA is the only people that can make FIFA, the only people who can do the NFL games. Like, it's ridiculous. I am so glad, this is my wrestling fan coming out, I am so glad that there is another wrestling game that's going to come out, and it's going to compete against 2K, which is WWE, for a wrestling game. Like, that excites me. There are, like, AEW is making a wrestling game, and WWE is making a wrestling game. And now you have two competing brands, and people can choose what they want to go with. I have been disappointed by the WWE sports games, the WWE 2K games for the past, 2 to 3 years, if not more. Because it's been more about microtransactions and virtual currency and bullcrap like that. And EA doesn't have any competition at all to Madden or FIFA or anything like that, making these games just they don't need to. They can just literally copy and paste the game from a year ago, 2 years ago, and just new code of paint, 60 FPS, 4K. Like, yeah.
No, I got you. Yeah.
Like, I agree, Spectre. Speak with your wallet. If you don't like this, don't buy it.
Yeah, you don't have to buy these games. I know that's tough. I know, and it was tough for me. I'm a huge fan of Battlefield. I
gotta stop you on that. Here's the thing though. Here's the thing though. Like, you don't like Battlefield and you don't want to buy it. That's fine. But you have other military shooters that you can go to. Am I right?
I guess, yeah. I haven't really done that, but I guess there are others out there.
There's other options, though. There's other options,
but I haven't really gone to any of them because nothing really fills that niche in the same way.
Mm-hmm. But the difference with... Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'll let you.
I was going to say, there's not really anything else that's quite like Battlefield that has that same style of combat and vehicles and kind of the mixture of the two. You don't really have that anywhere else. So in a way, I haven't replaced it, if that's your point.
The thing is that, but you have the ability to, replace it. And I understand
I don't
Battlefront.
know.
Well, Battlefield is it's there is no other game like Battlefield
That would
Earth.
that well, I mean, by that same logic, you could replace FIFA with football or basketball.
Well, with a different sport. Well, the thing is, like, why would I want to replace wrestling with 2K, like NBA 2K? Like, I don't like basketball, I like wrestling. But what I'm saying is that, like, there is no other football, there is no other soccer game. Like, EA makes the only Madden game. EA makes the only FIFA game, or yeah, soccer, football, like that kind of thing. So, like, I don't know. I wish there was competition, and it won't happen because EA has a vice grip over these contracts, and FIFA and the NFL don't care or won't allow it or whatever. And the only way they'll care is if all of a sudden they're not receiving money from royalties or whatever from these games being sold. But it's not, but it probably won't happen because this is the only one you can do. Same thing with NBA. It's the same thing. There is no other NBA game outside of NBA 2K blank. It's the same thing. And that's what sucks. There should be other sports games competing with each other, still using the NFL and NBA and FIFA and NHL and so on and so on, using that brand. I don't get it, but anyway. Let's move on. Next topic. Okay, so we talked about, so on our last episode, our PlayStation conversation was called The Harry Potter Problem. And we talked about how Troy Leavitt left, who was a lead developer, not the lead developer. He was a lead developer who left Avalanche, which Avalanche is working on the Hogwarts Legacy game, which is already under a ton of controversy as it is. But Troy Leavitt put up a YouTube video talking about why he left. And we talked about this on the episode about how he's going to post one soon, and now he has now put out the video. And I recommend everyone to watching this video, this YouTube video. It's about 20 minutes long, but it's a Zoom call. And this is what it is. So, Troy Leavitt has released a video explaining his decision to leave Avalanche and the Hogwarts Legacy project. The video explains that Leavitt has retired from the industry due to health-related family issues, and the controversy over his YouTube channel was only a catalyst for retiring now, but not the cause. So it was that was the straw that broke the camel's back. That was just like, all right, now this is activating it. The video, which is an edited version of a Zoom presentation given to ex-colleagues at Avalanche, features Leavitt explaining that he had retired in August of 2020, but rejoined the company in October. In early February of 2021, quote, family matters took a sharp turn, seemingly before the reports about Leavitt's controversial YouTube output initially emerged. And again, his YouTube channel, the videos that he put out on his YouTube channel are 2 to 3 years old, mind you. I want to put that out there. Leavitt says that WB applied no pressure to him over the situation, but Leavitt made the decision to retire this month. Leavitt labeled press coverage of the controversy as feeling like cancel culture, thanked those who defended him on YouTube, and announced that he'd like to work in indie development and will continue to work on a fantasy novel series. Leavitt shared a resignation letter which says, quote, I leave with only the warmest of feelings towards both the Avalanche team and the WB organization. End quote. Later in the video, he said he believes, quote, Avalanche is the right studio to make this game, end quote, pointing to its work on its licensed IP, in-house talents, and partnerships, which the IP that Avalanche have worked on is the Shadow of War games, Shadow of Middle-earth and Shadow of War. He also said he appreciates the studio's player-centric design team, adding that it's focused on, quote, what's good for the player without trying to push any other agendas into the game, end quote, a phrase which appears to technically reference the ongoing controversy around the Harry Potter creator J.K. Rowling's transphobic views. And that's what happened. So this video, again, we defended it, or at least I defended it, and like I very much am still excited for Hogwarts Legacy, and I'm glad to hear that he didn't leave because this was happening. He left. This was just a catalyst. He was going to leave anyway. He retired, but he came back because he believed in this project and he believes in the Avalanche team. But then he was like, you know what? My family comes first, and all of that. And I agree with him on this.
So I'm trying to understand what you said there. So he came back now?
Okay, so he retired in August of 2020, August of last year. And then he rejoined Avalanche in October. So August, September, October, for this project. So he was like, I'm done at Avalanche. I'm done. But then he was called, like WB hired him for this, if I'm to understand this, is that he came back 2 months later, and he's like, all right, yeah, I'll do Hogwarts Legacy. Let's do this. And he came back. And then in February of 2021, early February 2021, family matters took a sharp turn. So there was maybe a death. Something was happening within his household, within his family, that was taking his focus away from Hogwarts Legacy, which was happening before these reports. These reports started happening in the beginning of March, where someone said oh, his YouTube channel is anti-social justice and all the how transphobic and blah, 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 of all the stuff that he said. And mind you, the videos but these videos came out 2 to 3 years ago. It's a very different story if he said those things today. Now, do I condone those things? No. But I do believe that people change. I don't know if he still believes in them right now, and if he does, but if he's good at what he does and the work he does doesn't, if he's doing the work and what he believes in isn't affecting his work, then let him do the work. That's all that I care about. If we didn't buy things dependent on what someone thought, we wouldn't be able to buy probably anything. Look, it's a really hard and it's a really murky pool to really get through. There is no black and white about this at all. We talked about this on the last episode on the Harry Potter problem, and it's hard to walk through this. But the one thing that I will say is that I'm glad that WB, the people who hired him, did not pressure him to quit. Avalanche didn't pressure him to quit. He left on his own accords. He left on his own terms. And he has nothing but good things to say about Avalanche, nothing but good things to say about WB Games. And that actually gives me hope for this game. I still am excited for Hogwarts Legacy, and I very much really do hope that this game is able to stand up and be able to be like, yeah, J.K. Rowling, yeah, she's transphobic, and yeah, this, and yeah, that, but these controversies don't mess with the game. The game is a good game because the game is good. Does that make sense?
Kind of, yeah.
Well, what are you confused about?
Yeah, I feel like we're kind of retreading what we said last time here, but I mean, do we want to just kind of go into that discussion again? I mean,
well, again, this is just an update saying that he has been able to respond and kind of be like, no, I did not get kicked out or whatever, as some video game outlets have said, it's I chose to leave of my own terms.
Well, I mean, do we even trust that either? I mean, people can say whatever, but I mean, did he really get, did he really leave of his own terms? I mean, there's a lot of cases where people are just kind of forced to leave, and I mean, I just, depending on I mean, who knows?
Do you not trust people, Spectre?
What's that?
Do you not trust people, Spectre? Do you not trust anyone?
God, no. Are you kidding me? Why? People lie every single day. I'm not even saying that he's lying. Maybe he's like forced to. Maybe he had to save face. This is his way of saving face or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the whole story, but it just seems suspicious to me.
Well, I guess the best thing I can say is, again, the video will be in our sources in the description. And I guess the best thing is for you to decide yourself what you think of this situation and this game. That's kind of what I would say about it. But yeah. Let's move on. Next topic is that Ghost of Tsushima combat hands down was the most difficult feature to add, Sucker Punch co-founder says. So I hope to God you'll be talking more about this, Spectre. But according to Sucker Punch co-founder Brian Fleming, the most difficult feature to implement in Ghost of Tsushima, hands down, was combat. Fleming went into detail about how perfecting this key component was a 6-year-long journey for the team that was absolutely crucial to get right. Fleming appeared at the GDC showcase this week for a virtual Ask Me Anything session to talk about the studio's hit game Ghost of Tsushima. Fleming was asked early on in the session which feature was the most difficult for Sucker Punch to implement, which he responded without hesitation that it was the combat. Quote, easy answer, and the answer is combat. The combat system was something that the team The combat system was something that the team that worked on that, the handful of programmers and designers and animators, they worked nonstop for 6 years and built multiple versions of it with multiple approaches. In Ghost of Tsushima, players control Jin, so again, we talk about that. Ghost of Tsushima's combat reflects this by incorporating both stealth combat and unique sword dual system for more aggressive and straightforward combat, because you use stealth and you can be aggressive. Fleming says the combat along with travel was such a central aspect to Ghost of Tsushima that implementing a system that worked with Tsushima's vast open world while still being challenging and unique was a constant challenge for the developers. The combat system, quote, the combat system, along with a few other systems, they're kind of the center of everything. They have to work in every situation. They have to work in every lighting situation. They have to work in every terrain. They have to work in every strange mode the game might be in. Combat could potentially break out in. This also meant that there was no room to cheat the system, as some developers may have to, as a natural part of game development, just how developers struggle with doors, which Naughty Dog was apparently struggling with doors. It was an elusive, nonstop effort over literally a 6-year journey, continuing to work on that. I think the results were good, but it was a long and difficult road. Fleming shared some other stories about Ghost of Tsushima's development, including working with PlayStation's Shuhei Yoshida to get the authenticity of the setting right, and how the seamless load times were a result of good programming and data management. The virtual GDC showcase continues all week, so on and so on. So again, there's been a week of GDC interviews and stuff like that. Talk to me, Spectre.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's something we've kind of talked about before. I mean, it's a I mean, the combat was very, very well done. I mean, that was one of my main concerns going into the game. How can you make this this fun? I mean, combat is the main core part of the game, and it has to feel varied, and it has to feel like it has weight to it. And I think they did a stellar job with it. And I think a big part of that was this the switching of stances, that element of the system. I think that was a brilliant idea. It's a way to I wish it's something I'd see in more games almost, because I think it's a way to kind of vary up combat in what could otherwise be kind of dull. So I think that was a great idea. I think it works well. I mean, everything kind of blends well together between that and the ghost weapons. It really encourages you. It does a good job of encouraging you to use your full arsenal. So I think it does a pretty good job of that. I mean, there's only a couple of items I really didn't use all that much. But I was always switching between stances. I was, using the ghost weapons. I was using stealth. I mean, you could tell kind of a basic test of a combat system is there a lot of fluff to it? And I don't think there was really a lot of fluff to this because I used pretty much everything consistently. It wasn't like I was, I didn't want this to be just like a press X to win type of combat. It really is not. You have to mix up your types of attack. You have to mix up your stances. You have to use ghost weapons, especially on the higher difficulties. It's if you're not doing that, you're just you have to make good use of parries and dodges.
Yeah.
It has it all. So I think you can see their work in it.
6 years. 6 years. That's a god dang. 6 years, because that came out that came out last year in 2020. So 2014, right?
Yeah, so I mean, it was in development for a long time. I mean, that's a pretty
because Sucker Punch's last game before Ghost was Infamous Second Son, wasn't it? They didn't have a game until between Infamous and Ghost, was there? I don't think so.
I don't think so. No.
No. So again, good work to them. Good work to them. They're very good at what they do, and I very much cannot wait. If I have to wait another 6 years for Ghost of Tsushima 2 on the PS5, I'll gladly wait. That's fine. I don't think I think it'll be more like 4 years because now they don't have to implement a whole new combat system because now they have a combat system that they can just kind of implement and then kind of build upon. So that does cut down the time, but the amount of time that they really wanted to get authenticity right and the combat right, like, God, it's such a good game. Such a good game. I love it. Let's move on. One last topic is that Denuvo, which is Denuvo anti-cheat, is now part of the PS5 middleware. So digital rights management company Denuvo has been controversial in the PC market, where it also offers anti-cheat services to interested developers. Denuvo just announced that its anti-cheat technologies have been added to the PS5's, quote, tools and middleware program. This means that anyone releasing a game on the PS5 can make use of the Denuvo anti-cheat to try to thwart would-be cheaters in the game. Interestingly, Denuvo said as part of the announcement that a number of PS5 launch games already are made use of the anti-cheat, though they don't specify which games do.
Yeah, so I guess I can probably talk a little bit more about this. So Denuvo's it's pretty controversial on PC because it's a couple of things. It impacts performance. So it can do things that you can, like say, it can impact performance, which is never a good thing. It's pretty significantly in some ways too when it's utilized. It also is I don't have a great understanding of it, but from my understanding, it's kind of a it's sort of like a spyware type of thing as well too. It can make your system vulnerable. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Bethesda tried to use it on Doom Eternal on PC, the PC version of it, and there was such a huge backlash to it that they actually ended up removing it from Doom Eternal. So people have pretty strong feelings about it. I think it's much less important on console as contrasted to PC for a multitude of reasons. I believe, if I'm not mistaken as well, PlayStation 4 uses Denuvo as well too. So I mean, this isn't like a new thing really necessarily, but it's just not as big of a deal for console as it would be for PC. And PC is a very different environment, and I think you can appreciate that. And people are pretty fiercely guarded of their. They don't want things on their system that can be probing them for information. That's why EA Origin was such a controversy even to this day. Epic Game Store. I mean, there's the people PC are usually very set in their ways. They don't want they don't, and with good reason. I'm the same way myself. I don't want to have things that are I don't want to have like spyware on my computer. I don't want to have backdoor, things on my computer like that. I don't want things that are hampering performance as well too. I want games to look great. So that's one of the points of playing games on PC, is to experience them in as optimized in as best way as you possibly can. And Denuvo can get in the way of that. So yeah, I don't really see this as an issue for PlayStation 5. I don't think anyone really cares. But on PC, it's a very different subject.
So is the only reason that it's controversial on PC is because of performance? Is it literally that? Again, I don't play PC, so
it's performance, and it's also some people claim, I don't know as much about it, but some people claim it has kind of a spyware type of thing where it can make your system vulnerable. Kind of with the same thing as EA Origin does as well too. People just don't like programs that can just change stuff on their computer and kind of leave backdoors and stuff. Like I said, I'm not explaining it too well, but it's there's more to it than just the performance side of it. But performance is pretty big as well too. I mean, anything that reduces performance is a problem.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like you talked about.
But like I said, we're coming from and even the podcast, it's from a council perspective.
Well, yeah,
so,
of course.
For council, for council players, I would say just in general probably don't have to worry about it.
I mean, maybe. I mean, again, I don't know. And if Denuvo has been on the PS4, I never realized that at all. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, again, I'm kind of just like, okay. Like, I'm just like, oh, okay, whatever this is it's okay. I don't, like, again, I barely know anything about this. I was actually being like, I was surprised that, like, because I was looking like online and looking at other articles and, like hearing about this, and some people were like, "Oh my God, get rid of this! This is so bad." And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, it definitely has a reputation. It's it has a bad reputation. What can I say? It's but I don't think it's the end of the world like people make it out to be. That
I mean, again, I guess for me, performance as in, I don't know. I guess the way you define performance, I guess, like for me, it's like, what do I want in a game? It's good story, good gameplay. That's like top tier on my stuff. Whether it's in 30 FPS or 60 FPS or 120 FPS, it's kind of just that. It's like, oh, that's cool. That looks really cool. Or, in 4K or 1080, like, yeah, I want it in 4K, of course I do, but like, because I want the best in life, but like, I'm not going to go ahead and throw a hissy fit if it's in 1080 or whatever. I mean, again, maybe it's because I'm an old man and I'm used to playing games that were 18-bit 64-bit back in the 90s and everything, and even some of the more popular games that like now like they're in that like 64-bit genre or whatever, and they're just really popular or whatever, like Undertale or whatever. So like,
well, let's not talk about Undertale.
All right, fine. All right, so we have one more thing that we want to discuss, but this is going to be our PlayStation conversation. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right, this is our PlayStation conversation. PlayStation. Alrighty, so the biggest piece of news that has come out pretty much this year. We didn't really talk about this because this happened back in like I think January or February. The news that Microsoft bought Bethesda. They went ahead and be like, "Yep, Bethesda's ours now," which was a $7.5 billion with a B billion-dollar deal. And it just happened that this week the acquisition, Microsoft has completed the acquisition of Bethesda. So meaning, letters been marked, signed, marked, delivered, all that kind of good stuff. Like, it is finished now. Bethesda is part of Microsoft. And there is an official post from Xbox. It says, officially welcoming Bethesda to Team Xbox. Publisher of iconic gaming franchises will expand the Xbox's diverse portfolio on Xbox Game Pass. This is from the article. So it says, quote, this is an exciting day for Xbox. Today, we officially complete the acquisition of ZeniMax Media, parent company of Bethesda Softworks. It's an honor to welcome the 8 incredibly talented development studios: Bethesda Game Studios, ID Software, ZeniMax Online Studios, Arkane, MachineGames, Tango Gameworks, Alpha Dog, and Roundhouse Studios, and their passionate global communities to the Xbox family. Now that everything is official, we can begin working together to deliver some more great games to everyone. At every step of building this moment, I've been inspired, so it's Next step is building an industry-leading first-party studios team. So now he's talking about first parties, commitment that we have to our Xbox community. With the addition of Bethesda creative teams, gamers should know that Xbox consoles, PC, and Game Pass will be the best place to experience new Bethesda games, including some new titles in the future that will be exclusive to Xbox and PC players. As we shared previously, it's vitally important that Bethesda continues to make games the way it has. We look forward to empowering Bethesda's creative teams to reach even more players around the world, helping make future Bethesda titles the biggest and most popular games in the industry. Xbox and Bethesda have long shared a common vision of the future in gaming. Both as fans and creators, Bethesda understands the potential of the Xbox Game Pass. And then he talks about, we'd like to honor the life and memory of a close friend, Robert A. Altman, the founder of ZeniMax Media. Robert believed deeply in the power of gaming, and we are privileged to be able to continue his work by joining forces with the teams he built and led for many years. I will miss the opportunity to work directly with him for the future in our combined teams, but I know that his spirit will live on in the shared work we do and motivate us to make this partnership that all he envisioned. And then he says, thank you for the players. In the meantime, to properly celebrate this special moment, we are bringing additional games to the Game Pass later this week, which is it's 20 different Bethesda games. So it's Dishonored, Wolfenstein, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Doom, so on and so on. So, yeah, that's a lot. And then, let's see. So that was the article. So Microsoft now, by buying Bethesda, Microsoft now has 23 first-party game studios compared to Sony's 13. So PlayStation has 13 studios. By buying Bethesda, they added, 8? I think they said 8. 8, yeah, so that's 8. That's crazy. Let's see. So, more to go on. In a separate blog post, Bethesda marketing chief Pete Hines reveals that there won't be any big changes just yet. So, first, let me say that we're not making any landmark announcements or changes right now. As we've shared, the expectation is that Bethesda Softworks and our studios will continue as we have in the past, just with more support and resources than we've had before. Obviously, Game Pass is an important initiative to Xbox. We're working on putting even more of our games into Game Pass than before. And so this means that they promise to honor the PS5 exclusivity commitments of Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. And then games like Elder Scrolls Online will continue to be supported exactly how it is as well. And they very much are beating around the bush about the exclusives. I guess the biggest question we have to ask is Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 Xbox exclusives?
Well, I would like before I talk about things, I guess let's get your I don't want to taint your view of things right away. What's your kind of overall take on this right away? And then I already know what I'm going to say. I just kind of want to hear what you're going to say first.
So this is a big deal. I was dumbfounded when I heard the news of this last, like, I think it was back in January or February. I think it was January, where was announced that Microsoft spent $7.5 billion on Bethesda. And I believe, I was looking into this more. The money they spent, they didn't like kind of take from their, this was just money that Microsoft just had, just sitting around. This wasn't money that they're like, okay, we need to take away funds from, blank, blank, and blank. It's just, we have this money, we're just gonna buy them. And apparently, the acquisition of Bethesda, I think it's 3 times the amount that Disney paid to get Lucasfilm, because I think it was Lucasfilm was like 2.3 billion. Like it's
I thought it was
ridiculous.
a little higher than that, but it's probably around that elements. Yeah, it's at least twice as much.
Yeah, so like, which is still ridiculous. Like I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this, because I am excited for Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield, and I really do want to play them on my PlayStation. I really do. But so that's like my PlayStation fanboy coming in, is that like, oh man, I want to play this on my PlayStation. I love Dishonored. Dishonored is so good, and Doom is fantastic. Like Doom Eternal, what a fun game. Oh god, Doom Eternal is so much fun. And like Arkane, I love what Arkane, I'm excited for Deathloop. I trust what Arkane does, and I look forward to playing Deathloop because that's made by Arkane, so that's going to be really fun. But the two of the biggest games to come out from Bethesda, two of the most hyped games in the industry, that's kind of, that kind of sits alongside Last of Us Part 2 and Cyberpunk 2077 are these two games, Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6. I think it was back in 2018, E3 2018, where at the end of the Bethesda conference, they showed a 1 to 2 minute trailer of Elder Scrolls 6, and that was just Todd Howard just being like, shut up, everyone, leave us alone, we're making this game, leave us alone so we can make this game. So, as a PlayStation fan, it does worry me, because if it is an exclusive, you're losing a whole part of your fan base to that. And yeah, you can play it on PC, but there are people like me who don't want to play on PC, or people who don't have the money or whatever to get a good gaming PC to use it on, because it's Xbox and PC. So as a PlayStation fan, I am a bit worried, but as a gaming fan, as just like, fan of video games overall, one of the biggest problems, like, again, I want a successful and competitive Xbox, just like I want a successful and competitive Nintendo, along with a successful and competitive PlayStation. Like, these brands, I want them to be able to be successful in what they do. So, yeah, of course, Nintendo kind of is, like, not fighting for the same piece of pie that PlayStation and Xbox are. But the one problem that Xbox has had, especially over the lifespan of the PS4 and the Xbox One, is that you have no exclusives. What? Halo, the next Gears, and the next Forza? That's it? There wasn't anything where I'm like, okay, it's another Gears, which Gears 5 is great. Oh, it's another Halo. Those Halo games are... And then Forza, which is just Forza. You enjoy Forza, it's a racing game, huzzah, Forza. So, they haven't had any of these, they haven't had their Horizon Zero Dawn. They haven't had their, even Order 1886, which people didn't like. I did. But, you don't even have those, here's this odd game that, let's throw it against the wall. You don't have your Spider-Man. You don't have your God of War. They don't have anything like that. Every year since It felt like ever since Uncharted 4 came out, every single year since Uncharted 4, there was a Game of the Year contender exclusive coming from PlayStation, which I believe that was a 2015, 2016 game. So since about that time, because I remember they were like Xbox had more exclusives coming out in the beginning of its life cycle. So you had like Dead Rising 3 and Rise, which Dead Rising 3 was fine, Rise was not. But then after that, then you had Sunset Overdrive, and then it kind of just slowed down after that. So as a video game fan, I am excited to see what this could be. And mind you, like when they said like Psychonauts 2 or like all these things, like all these games, like whatever this Obsidian game, this like Avowed, I believe it is, that's an exclusive on there. The Middle is only on Xbox, and I think that's already out. That's that horror game but like it's like in heaven, and it's like the normal world in hell or whatever. Like it's a horror game, and I was like,
The Medium.
The Medium, that was it. I'm sorry. But like you get there's all of they acquired Ninja Theory, who did Sasuke Sacrifice, Hellblade. They need exclusive developers and exclusive brands and exclusive games. This excites me as a video game fan, but as a PlayStation fan, I'm like, well, then what do we have? I don't know. That's where I sit. That's my opinion.
Okay, yeah, no, I don't think I guess I disagree with most of what you said. I just don't really see this as that big of a deal. I think really this has really nothing to do with exclusives. Yeah, I think they threw in that phrase about exclusives at the end there. They're not even sure how they want to do. I mean, I don't envision a world where the next Elder Scrolls game or Fallout game is exclusive to Xbox and PC. I just don't really see that happening. I just think it would be if anything, I would see it. We'll probably see it on pretty much everything. We'll see it on PlayStation. Maybe they'll have some kind of new thing for Switch. They'll release something else. I think that they're kind of becoming. Microsoft has really become kind of console agnostic. They don't really believe in it's the opposite of the Nintendo strategy, where Nintendo fiercely guards their IP, and you buy a Nintendo Switch to play Nintendo games. That's the only place you can really play them. Mm-hmm. You don't. That's not their philosophy here. I think they want. They don't care where you buy Elder Scrolls. They're still making money off it. I think that's their philosophy. Mm-hmm. I think if anything, what we'll see is you'll see Game Pass come to other platforms. Maybe they try to introduce Game Pass to other systems. They already did it to PC. I think they're if they've shedded really all their exclusives. I don't think they're really focused on exclusives at all. I don't think that's the whole point of this. No, I think it's about building a catalog of games and making Game Pass more enticing. And getting and basically their goal is to get everybody on Game Pass. That's kind of the end goal. They don't really care about individual game sales anymore, and it makes sense. It's like, what would you rather have? Would you rather have this is kind of the future they want. Why risk individual, because a title can be a big risk. I mean, look at what we were just talking about. We were just talking about Avengers. Look at all the money that was dumped into that game. You wouldn't think it was a risk, but it turned out to be a big risk for them, and they lost on it. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be better just to put a whole bunch of games onto a service, like we've done with other things, like we've done with music, like we've done with movies and television shows? Wouldn't it make more sense just to put everything onto a service and then milk the consumer for money every single month, mm-hmm. and have a much more consistent, reliable stream of income and profit? That makes more sense from a business standpoint, and that's really Microsoft's strategy. Yeah, I think here is they're not buying. I really genuinely don't think they bought Bethesda, and now they're gonna be like, oh well, now we're gonna slap down Elder Scrolls and Fallout. You can only play that on Xbox, or I don't see that happening. I just don't see a world where that really happens. And really, I mean, when it comes to Bethesda at this stage of the game, there's only like what 2 or 3 games anyone really cares about anymore. I mean, people still care about Fallout, people still care about Elder Scrolls, and people still care about Doom. But everything else has kind of, I mean, every other major brand and a title they have has been kind of destroyed in the last 3 or 4 years or so. Starfield is an unknown, so we don't. Starfield's a big question mark. We have no idea what it is really yet.
But the thing is that Starfield is being developed by Bethesda Softworks, which is the developers behind the Elder Scrolls game. That's why people are excited.
Yeah, but yeah, so I'm not excited in the least for it yet. I haven't seen anything. I don't know what the game really is.
Go ahead. I'm interrupting you. Go ahead.
I'm not usually excited for a big question mark. You know what I mean? But yeah. So like I said, I don't think. I mean, when they say exclusive, maybe they'll. I think they're referring to more like smaller games. Certain games will maybe not see a PlayStation release, but I don't see a scenario where big, huge tentpole games like Doom or Elder Scrolls or Fallout don't come to other consoles. I don't see that happening. For most gamers, that right there, I think that takes away. I think that takes away a lot of the worry. Like, I mean, they're not trying to. I think that's people's gut reaction to this. They're gonna lock people out of games, and you have to play on PC or this or that. I just don't really see that happening. Mm-hmm. I just don't see a scenario where that happens. Mm-hmm. I think this is about building Game Pass. They even said it right there in the article that you just read.
Yep.
It's all about building Game Pass. And most of these games were already on Game Pass already. So I mean, it's just about like I said, this is kind of the Microsoft strategy since time immemorial. It's to buy things up and take a piece of the pie out of it. Basically, that's what it's all about. They see something that's already successful and buy it up and take a stake in that profit.
Yeah.
I think that's what it comes down to. Like I said, really, it's just those 3 games that I think anybody really cares about at this point. I mean, like I said, I know you like Dishonored. Dishonored was okay. They torpedoed that franchise. I loved Wolfenstein, and they destroyed Wolfenstein.
Oh, they killed. I mean, look, even I can be like, dude, Youngblood, what? Get out of here! Get out of here!
Even before Youngblood, nobody cares about Wolfenstein anymore. Deathloop has no hype. It looks awful. The only one that kind of looks vaguely interesting actually is Ghostwire Tokyo, but even then, I don't see that being a big seller. That looks like kind of a niche game that maybe a few people buy. So I really we're just talking about their big, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, and Doom, and maybe Starfield.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely it is Starfield, it is Elder Scrolls, and like Doom. Like, I mean, again, like I think like we love Doom because it's really fun, and the game industry, like if you look at reviews, it's reviewed really well, but I didn't hear people like calling for Doom, going, "Oh my God, Doom Eternal, cannot wait!" Like it wasn't in the complete social zeitgeist of the video game industry. But Elder Scrolls 6 is. Starfield is.
No, what are you talking about? It was extremely successful and profitable. I mean, just because somebody didn't talk about it on Twitter, Doom did very well.
Oh, I'm aware of that because the thing is, I think Doom. I could be wrong, so like take my word with a grain of salt, but I believe Doom Eternal, like it was profitable, not like because people who were excited about it just like us. We bought it. We told our friends, "Hey, go buy this game. This game is fun." And then they did, along with, mind you, like you had the pandemic happening, and like it was just like more stuff. I'm not saying like the success that Doom Eternal has received is completely warranted. But like, Sorry, I got a piece of hair in my mouth, part of my beard. I apologize. um, with, but like we were like last year, it was like Last of Us Part 2 and Cyberpunk and that kind of thing. Like those were the games that was like talked about all of the time. But Doom Eternal is amazing. Like, do not get me wrong. I love that game. Hell, even I think it was today. So on 3/15, so at time of recording, there's a trailer for Ancient Gods, Doom Eternal Ancient Gods Part 2, the DLC. Which, yes. So I'm excited for that. I gotta go ahead and download that whenever that comes out.
Yeah, but no, I mean, yeah, no, Doom is very popular. It was in the top 10 most profitable games of last year. I mean, it's definitely up there.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that's my point. Is like, I mean, don't be doom and gloom about this, or don't. I guess it's not. I mean, obviously for me, I can play games on PC just fine, but I most likely would pick up Elder Scrolls on PlayStation and also, I most likely would play it on both PC and PlayStation, but for different reasons. But yeah, I don't see a scenario where they don't put that on PlayStation as well.
The thing is, like, because I can see your point of like, why would they put two of the most hyped games in the video game industry?
Why? It doesn't make sense from a profit standpoint. Like, why miss out on all those sales? You're not gonna. I mean, like I said, they don't really care about how many Xboxes they sell. They care about how many people sign up for their Game Pass. Mm-hmm. They care about, and yeah, the two are related to some degree, but they care more about sales of their game. They're more. It's not about just numbers of hardware sold anymore. That's not really the major metric anymore.
No, I agree, because when you were talking about Game Pass and that's the focus, I do agree. I do agree with you that.
I mean, personally, like I said, I it's a model I don't like. I don't like the idea of Game Pass. I don't really like. I'm someone that I don't really like monthly subscriptions. I think in the long term you get kind of milked for more than if you just bought, actually bought and owned things, mm-hmm. and just played things that you actually that are actually of value. Discriminate based on your taste a little bit. Perfect example, like the game I'm playing right now. I'm going for Final Fantasy X Remaster. I've over 60 hours into that game. I played, I got that game pre-owned for $15 at the most. I mean, it's so that's like, what, a month or not even of Game Pass right there. And it's I mean, just look at look at all the entertainment value I've gotten out of that compared to, random games that they feel like throwing on Game Pass. I think that's better. I don't like being frisked for money every single month. That we have enough monthly things you have to deal with already. I don't like the idea of just this future where we don't really own any games at all. We just kind of pull up a Netflix queue and hope there's something there we like.
No, and for me, it's more about preserving video game history. That's why I prefer physical games over digital. Like, this comes to whether a game, like a subscription based service, or just buying it digitally entirely, like just flat out outright buying it digitally. I very much am a fan of preserving video game history. That's like, if I could buy it physically, I will. And that's why I love places like Limited Run, or I Am 8-Bit, where they turn digital games into physical games, because then that is mine. Even if you rip it away from the PlayStation Store, I can still play it. It's still mine. Like we could use the example of Netflix, how Netflix cycles stuff out all of the time. So if I'm like, oh man, I'm really enjoying this like movie that I'm watching, and I want to watch it all of the time because it's my favorite, and they rip it away. Or a TV show. I remember, like, in January, at the end of January, they took out, like, all of Power Rangers. Like, the only thing of Power Rangers left on Netflix is Mighty Morphin, Dino Charge, and Beast Morphers, and that's it. But they had everything from Mighty Morphin, the past 25 plus years of Power Rangers was on Netflix, along with Big Bad Beetleborgs and VR Troopers. Like, I love that stuff. That, like, I'm a 90s kid. Like, I love that stuff. And then it's all gone. So, and I, like, it, like, for instance, I have all of the seasons of Power Rangers on DVD. Those prices of those DVDs skyrocketed once Netflix ripped them away from there, because now people were like, oh, I gotta have this now because they're taking away my stuff. So, like, again, I agree with you of, like, not a fan of the Game Pass. Now, Devil's Advocate, Game Pass is it's the most budget-friendly thing in the video game industry. Hell, even PlayStation Now has taken that same pricing, because PlayStation Now has been around for like ever since they bought Gaikai back in like the end of the PS3 days, so like 2012, 2013. And they've had PlayStation Now, but the prices were never good, and like streaming was like the service. Now they kind of got it down pat. But you hear Game Pass. Game Pass is the thing that you hear, not PlayStation Now. And there's a reason for that, because of marketing and stuff like that. But, like, Game Pass is great. You pay $10 a month, you can play whatever game you want. I can play Skyrim and Dishonored 1 and 2. I can play Fallout 4. I can play Fallout 3. I can play Wolfenstein 1 or 2, or you know, Doom or Doom Eternal, or whatever it would be, for that $10 per month. You know, if I'm like cycling through games. Now, it does, I guess it's your perspective of sunken cost, like sunken cost fallacy, where like if you play only one game and you spend $10 per month on this one game that you play all of the time, like ESO, is it worth it? Where you could just buy that game once, and I don't know if there's a subscription for it or not. I don't believe so. I could be wrong though. Or let's make it even easier. Let's say you play Skyrim. Skyrim is like $20. You could buy it once, and you can play it forever. Or you can keep playing Skyrim for the next. You get for 2 months. That's the same price, and then after that, you're spending another $10, another $10, another $10, another $10, another $10. But all you play is Skyrim. You know, like, I don't know.
Well, I think that's. I mean, we could probably have a whole nother video on Game Pass to kind of get into a deeper discussion of that and deep dive into it.
Yeah, but this Bethesda acquisition, like, I think for you, you're just like blasé about it, because not only, like, when we talk about exclusives, it's not technically exclusives when we talk about PlayStation and especially Nintendo, where it's still on PC. We have talked to you. I know you have brought this up multiple times, where you're like, I can just play it on my PC. I never have to touch an Xbox ever.
Yeah, there's no reason. Yeah, there's never really any reason. This is not going to get you to run out and buy an Xbox. I mean, just play this. You know, if a game really is exclusive on PC, just or exclusive whatever, just just pick it up on PC. You know, I mean, they're going to release everything both on Xbox and PC.
Yeah, and I guess that's my kind of frustration with Xbox, with Microsoft, is like, what again, we talked about this before, but like, this goes back to, you know, the Play Anywhere initiative, where if it comes to Xbox, it comes to PC, and then you're like, but why do I need an Xbox then? I need a PlayStation in order to play Uncharted and Last of Us and Horizon and God of War and Spider-Man. I need a PlayStation. And even then, we talked about how they're bringing PlayStation games to PC. They're bringing them to PC 2 to 3 years after the game has come out. So you still need a PlayStation to play it day one, to like be there. And again, FOMO is a big thing in the video game industry. So like, where it comes out day one, I mean, I get it, because I think they're playing a different game. The very much of the Series X and the PS5 kind of show the different, like, where both systems are going, where it felt like the Xbox One and PS4 were playing in the same lane. They were going after the same target at the same time. Where now it feels like PS5 and the Series X are now two vastly different systems. that are going after different things. Xbox is very much focused on their Game Pass. You buy a Series X or you buy a PC for the Game Pass, where you get a PS5 for the DualSense, for the exclusives, for pretty much the power is different for them both and how they operate and stuff like that. I think both of these systems now are playing different games now, and they're using a different playbook. It's not the same one as before, if that makes any sense. They're not using the same playbook. Both of them are not looking at the same playbook at the same time.
Yeah.
So I like this is big news. This is massive. I was shocked when this happened. I don't know. Do you have anything else that you want to say about this?
No, I mean, I think we talked about it for quite a while. It's there's like I said, I think we could do a separate video on Game Pass.
Yeah. But about the acquisition of Microsoft and Microsoft buying Bethesda.
I mean that maybe we can do a part 2 or something. I feel like we're going pretty long.
True fact. I think I've said everything I needed to say about this. I guess we'll wait until we get more information, but the acquisition has been finalized. So, any final words before we close this out?
No, that's about it.
Okay. And for me, I look forward to seeing where this goes. I think time will tell about the exclusives, about how all of this works. I think time will tell. I think that's the best way I can go about this. But yeah, all right, that is everything. So yeah, that's our PlayStation conversation. So guys, please let us know in the comments what you guys think. Are you excited about this acquisition? Do you have an Xbox, whether it's an Xbox One or a Series X? Do you have Game Pass? Do you like Game Pass? All these kind of stuffs. All the stuffs. I'm good at words. I'm so good at this. But anyway, please let us know in the comments what you guys think. But guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. YouTube.com/BrotherhoodOfGeeks. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell everybody you know. Tell your friends. Tell your parents. Tell your grandparents. Tell some strangers about us. We always appreciate that. Even tell your pets. You can do that too. If a dog can use a computer, props to you. But please subscribe to the channel. And also press the bell icon. That way, whenever we put up a video, we put up a video. You can also follow us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/TheBrotherhoodOfGeeks. You can also follow us on Twitch at Twitch. Twitch? Yes. Wow. I'm mixing up my Twitter and Twitch. Or our Twitter and Twitch. I'm really good at this. Huzzah! You can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/BrotherhoodOfGeeks. You can also follow us on Twitter at Dualshock'd. BOG. That's the name of this PlayStation podcast. Dualshock'd. BOG. Yeah. A lot of words. I'm really good at this, aren't I, Spectre?
I think so, yeah.
Yay! All right. Well, do you have anything else left to say, Spectre?
No, it's about it, I think.
All right, then. Well, then, I'm Brett J. Rasmussen.
I'm Spectre.
Yeah, and as always, live to play together. We'll see you guys next time.